That was your uncle. And whoever was responsible for this shouldn't be alive much longer.
Well, I can ask around.
For 100 rags, you have to do more than that. Do we understand each other?
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Mark Dark, and I'm back with another video. If you're new, if you love The Chi, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video, and leave your theories, comments, everything down below. Now today, we're going to be talking about The Chi Season 6, Episode 2. This is the recap. Now I'm going to try my best to focus on all the key points in this episode. If I miss anything, you guys let me know down below. And as I told you guys last night, this was a more toned down episode. They're building more up on the storylines and the characters. And of course, we got introduced to some new characters in this episode. Of course, the new weed, supplier, Cairo, and also the legendary, the OG, Lynn Whitfield. She is playing Rob's mom. So it's going to get crazy, man. You can just tell that this season is going on a different path compared to the last few seasons. And you can feel that dark tone throughout the entire episode. And you can tell a big moment is coming soon enough. But what do y'all think about Lynn Whitfield's character, Alicia? She ain't playing around. She's about that life, and she wants the person that took out her brother Q gone. The question is, will Rob actually be able to figure out who did this? And if he is able, what is Rob going to do? We're going to see if he is about that life. I mean, for 100 racks, I guess he going to do what he got to do. We already know people, they'll do what she wants them to do for less than 100 racks. Easy in today's world. So we're going to see what your boy Rob is all about in Season 6 of The Chi. But we ain't going to waste too much time, y'all. Let's hop right into this recap. So what did we see in Episode 2 titled Mo Duda, Mo Problems? Now the episode starts out with the return of Jamal. He is back. He was released from prison. Seems like it was some tampering with evidence or whatever, so he's good. He got released early, and it seems like he has turned over his life to God. He's a different person. He's more calm. He doesn't really want to use violence like that anymore, and he wants to basically just change himself and meet back up with his sister, Lene, and he needs Victor's help. He needs Victor to help him out in order to make this happen, but Victor tells him, just give him some time or whatever. And if anybody can understand what Jamal is going through, it is Victor. We know he takes care of his brother Jake, and we know he can kind of relate to Jamal taking care of his sister Lene, at least in the past, right? Then we get to Keisha and Emmett, and they finish their conversation. We know Keisha was still pissed off. Emmett left the night before. He was out for about 3 hours. And she's talking about she knew he was out kicking it because she saw him on Nuck If Ya Bucks Insta story. And I was thinking, just like Emmett, what the hell are you following Nuck for? Like, really? Come on. But she was still following him, so it is what it is. So they end up just squashing the little issues that they have. Keisha just wants him to communicate with her, more. And she doesn't want him walking out like he did, because if that happens, she's like, look, I'll just leave. Like, I'm not about to deal with this. Now, Keisha does tell Emmett that, look, I want to move into a bigger spot. We should be looking for houses or whatever. Emmett, you can kind of tell he doesn't really want to do it, but he wants to make sure that Keisha is happy. And he's talking about he can, link up with Duda because he knows the realtor and he can help them out. Keisha's like, hell nah, they don't need Duda's help. But Emmett's like, look, he can help us out. She tells him like, okay, it is what it is, but do not make any major moves without me first. I need to know what is going on. So you already know how this is going to end. Now, we get to Tiffany and Dante, and we meet a new character named Cairo or whatever. He is a weed supplier, and you guys may, find this character familiar. He plays in Power Book for Force. I believe he's like a special agent in the FBI. Of course, he's played by Brian Keys, and he's in, of course, The Chi, just like your girl Dre is in The Chi, and we know she is Stacy Marks in Power Book for Force as well. But his weed is great. He's organic. He know what he doing. Of course, Tiffany, she is feeling like he is a threat to her business and that Dante is not going to mess around with her no more, along with a lot of other customers. But it seems like this guy is really not about trying to take her out. He's more of, look, I'm trying to teach you the game. I'm trying to teach you how to grow your own product. But at that particular moment, Tiffany didn't see it like that. And Dante tells her, like, look, I smoke his stuff exclusively. I only really, have you come over because I want to see your pretty face. And I'm looking like, man, Rob would not like that. He wouldn't like it at all, but it is what it is. It's just business for Tiffany, but still, I will feel some type of way about that. We know Rob felt some type of way about that because he expressed that to her later on in the episode. But, meeting up with this Cairo character, it's a smart business move, but you already know it can yield some very negative consequences, especially, seeing how Rob just made that new deal with Duda. Now we get to your boy Rashad, aka Hustle Man. He out there trying to get this money. He's selling old school stuff, and it seems like, Deja has a problem with this because she's like, man, you said you wanted to start your own business, but I didn't know you basically was going to be outside right in front of the house doing this. And she, feels some type of way about it. But of course, Rashad is telling her, like, look, I got this. Do you believe in me? And y'all know Deja, she's like, look, I can help you out. Like, look, you ain't got to be out here doing this. You overcharging. I mean, it ain't looking too good. But she wants to believe in Rashad and hope that this can work out. We already know this ain't going to work out. And most likely, we know based off the trailers, this man will be doing some type of business with Duda. And it's just sad because, Rashad, he really wants to make it. And it just seems like it's just real hard for him to do that. Now we get to Maisha and Gemma. And while they're shopping, they run into Sasha Goes Hard. We know she's from Chicago. And she wants Maisha to open up for her. I believe she said one of her acts got locked up or whatever. So she needs Maisha to basically, open up for her for about 15 minutes. But the thing is, Maisha, she ain't got a lot of songs. I believe she only got one song. And this is what they was telling her, like, look, you need more hits. Where is the new music, right? So Gemma's like, look, she can do 10, but Maisha's like, nah, I can do 15. So they just gonna have the band warm up for 5 minutes, and then Maisha comes out and she just gonna stretch it. She needs to make some more hits, y'all. But we know Gemma's telling her, like, look, I'm trying to make sure you ain't out there looking all crazy after you perform your little 2-minute song. And we know Maisha's telling her, like, well, look, I just need you to help me get more money. Well, in order to do that, you got to make more hits. But you can tell there's going to be some issues with Gemma and Maisha, especially after what happened after Maisha performed and Gemma, she got her cut, right? Then we get to Emmett and Darnell. Darnell lets Emmett know that he heard about some of the issues that he's having with Keisha. He heard about the whole car thing with Tiffany. And y'all know your boy Emmett was upset about that. But he is telling him, like, look, he got to go get ready to go buy a house or whatever. We know Darnell, he knows his son, telling him he cannot afford a house. And he wants to just go there with him to make sure he does not get scammed. But Emmett does not want his pops around when he's doing this. And it kind of made Darnell upset. He, it's kind of sad, in my opinion. And I'm looking like, man, he just trying to, spend some time with his son, have, that father and son moment. But Emmett, I mean, his mind is all over the place. Messing around with Duda is definitely affecting his life. And now we know it's affecting the people that's around him as well. We can see the change. And Darnell, he was just trying to warn him that, doing business with this dude, sleeping with the devil, all it's going to do is yield bad consequences. What do you guys think about this, man? I was feeling for Darnell, man. I'm like, man, just kick it with your pops for a little bit. But nope, your boy Emmett said, I can't do it. I got to go do this by myself. Now we get to Tiff and Rob, and she allows him to smoke the new supplier's, new product. And Rob is like, man, this dude gonna put us out of business. Tiffany tells him, like, look, well, he could be our new supplier. We know Rob just made a deal with Duda for an extra, 15% on the top of what he's already making. And he does not want to get on Duda's bad side. But Tiffany convinces Rob that, look, they can just talk to this new supplier, Cairo, and just to see, what he's talking about, but do not make any moves without him. And once she brought up Dante, your boy Rob said, hell nah, like, you about to call him? Look, I want to be there when you go meet up with this dude because I ain't trusting all the stuff that you talking about, which makes a lot of sense to me, especially, based off Tiffany's past and some of the things that she's done. Now we get to Kevin and your boy Jake. They're in the house playing video games, having a good time. And we know Jake, he wants Kevin to wear his new, gear at his next event just to promote his clothing line. And you can tell Jake, he is proud of Kevin. It's like, man, you really got your own spot. You out here making it. And your boy Kevin, he is texting Maisha, and Jake is like, who you texting? And of course, he ain't gonna tell him who he is texting, but still, y'all know they're just building this up because once it gets out, it's not going to end well. I just can't wait to see how Papa's going to react to all of this when, he finds out the truth. Now we get to Emmett, Duda, and DeAndre, the realtor, and they're trying to get Emmett to get this house on the west side of Chicago. But you can tell Emmett is kind of, hesitant. He's like, man, I don't even know if I can do this, if I can afford this house, putting 20% down and all that stuff. I just don't know. Duda is telling him like, look, you put what you can put down and I'll pay the rest of that percentage, basically to make sure you got that 20%. And, if he's able to pay that 20%, at least he won't have to worry about a PMI fee. Now, Emmett is still kind of going back and forth. And Duda, he's like, man, look, just get the house. You said Keisha wants a bigger home. Go ahead and just buy it. Because we know back in the day, that's what dudes did. They just went out and bought homes for their wives or whatever, and they didn't even have any type of input. I'm talking about the females. They didn't have no input at all. Duda is still living in the old ways. But remember, Keisha pretty much said, if you go out there and do anything major, let me know. I want to have some type of input. DeAndre, he steps in. He's like, look, take your time or whatever. Go talk to Keisha. Let her come and look at the house, and then you can make a decision. And you can tell Duda was like, oh, okay, it is what it is with that. But he wants Emmett to do exactly what he wants Emmett to do. So it is what it is. Now, Victor, he takes Jamal to the Rock, community center to meet Tracy because he wants, her to help him out with some work or whatever. And, pretty much just give him something to do. And when Jamal sees Tracy, you can tell he wanted her, y'all. You can tell he wants to get with Tracy. He is thanking her for what she's done for his sister and the people. And Victor's like, look, he has a lot of time on his hands and, he could help you out. He's telling her like, look, I, pretty much turned over a new leaf. I'm not looking for any trouble. Tracy says, me too. So that lets us know that, look, the whole Duda thing in her head, it's over. But is it really over? And, Jamal, he wants to walk her to the car, but she's like, nah, I'm good. But you can tell she wants to mess around with him too. She likes Jamal. So how do you guys see this whole storyline playing out? Because y'all know it's going to be some negative consequences once Duda finds out what's going on. And we haven't seen anything major yet, but something is bound to happen within this whole storyline. Then we get to Papa, his dad, Bakari, and Papa's mother. And, Pastor Stanley Jackson was upset. He said, look, y'all kids don't do nothing but stay on those phones watching videos all day. Y'all don't read the Bible no more. Of course, Papa has to let him know he was just on the Bible app on his phone yesterday. Bakari, he is laughing, and we know, Pastor Stanley Jackson tells him, like, look, you shouldn't be laughing. I saw you hanging out with Otis and his crew. You shouldn't be messing around with him. All money ain't good money. We know Papa was telling Bakari, look, I make an honest living. And Bakari's like, look, man, he good. He ain't trying to make no $7.50 an hour. He is cool. And then his mom's, she had me cracking up, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. She said, don't make fun of his little paycheck. I'm looking like, really? She just gonna dog him out like that? I mean, I know she wasn't trying to dog him out, but that was funny when she said that. We know Papa's like, look, you don't even practice what you preach. You tell us one thing and then you go out and you do something completely different. And we can tell that, Stanley was kind of upset with that. We know Papa's mom kind of told him, look, you shouldn't be talking like that or whatever. And Papa, he is basically going off the Bible and what the Bible said about kids. And she tells him like, look, the kids in the Bible ain't you. They ain't talking about you or whatever. She just doesn't want her son to be challenging his father. But we know, the pastor is telling him, look, yes, he made some mistakes, but he wants to make sure that he does good. And, he's not happy about the things that he's done in the past, but we're going to see how his future is going to end. I told you guys, this whole Pastor Stanley Jackson storyline is going to open up even more, and you can tell something major is going to happen within this whole storyline. But it was good to see, the pastors tell Bakari, look, you can stay because you are family. You don't have to go nowhere. You can stay here and you can have a family discussion with all of us. Lets us know that Bakari really appreciates this because we know one thing that he lacked was a good family, was a good father figure. And it seems like Papa's dad has stepped up and is making it feel like, Bakari is a part of that family and he has someone to look up to. Now we get to your girl Tracy, and y'all let me know what y'all think about this. We saw her go through that phone and she has blocked Duda. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to open up more time for her to, be with Jamal as that storyline continues to develop. And it seems like she is trying to get over him. The things that I guess she's been through, she's like, look, screw all that. I ain't got time to be messing around with Duda this time around. I mean, I thought your girl Tracy was going to be on the same stuff she's been on, for a long time. But it seems like she is trying to turn over a new leaf. We are going to see how things are going to develop as the season continues to air out. Now we get to Bakari and Rashad, and we can tell Rashad, he is struggling. I mean, trying to do this whole business thing and sell these products, it ain't going like he wants it to go. The money ain't going to be coming in like that. And Bakari understands that he is struggling, and he offers him, a job. Rashad is like, hell nah, he ain't trying to mess around with no illegal activity. And he tells Bakari he needs to watch himself because he's been in his position before and he knows how things are going to end. But Bakari is telling him like, look, it's simple. All you got to do is just make sure you watch out and you should be good. And you can tell deep down inside that Rashad is actually thinking about doing this. As I told you guys, we know from the official trailer that your boy Rashad most likely will be working in that warehouse. And we know he's going to have, some type of business with Duda, which we already know most likely is not going to end well. Now, we get to Papa and Kenya. She has decided to take him home, and she continues to ask him, like, when is he going to be turning 18? Lets us know that she wants to make a move on him eventually, and they have some things in common. She is a preacher's kid, so they relate on a lot of different topics of discussion. Papa does mention that his dad is not a fan of Kenya's, father's church and some of the things that they do, but I mean, it is what it is. Now, I did notice once Papa left after she asked him when he's turning 18, she had a look on her face like she is not telling Papa everything. Is she lying about something? I don't know, but I do know this. Something is up with her character. I want you guys to leave your predictions down below on Kenya. Papa, watch yourself, man. Now, we get to Lene, and she is finally linked back up with her brother Jamal. And man, it's crazy because when you go back to where he first came into the Shy, I mean, it was wild, y'all. I mean, he had her stand with some girl he was messing around with. It wasn't healthy for Lene. This time around, it seems like Jamal is more mentally prepared to, be around his sister. I'm just hoping things go well and Jamal is able to stay out of trouble. But we already know if Duda gets involved, which ain't no if, when he gets involved, that's going to cause a major issue. But he does warn her about messing around with street dudes. We know Lene messes with Bakari, and he's telling her that it's most likely not going to end well. But she understands, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to see how that's all going to develop as the season continues to air out. Now, we get to Pastor Stanley Jackson, Zay, Duda, and Nuck If You Buck. They go and make a visit to the church, and they got a donation. The last time that the pastor took a donation from Duda, you already know what happened. He got arrested. I made the video a few days back about, Pastor and, of course, Duda. You guys check that out. Zay is talking about when a man offers you a gift, you should take it. I mean, he think he Duda Jr. He want to be the man, don't he? As I told you guys last night, now I can see why Nuck If You Buck don't like this guy because he's doing entirely too much already. I see him getting hurt. Now, Duda, he pretty much tells the pastor, like, look, you only got arrested because you didn't do exactly what I told you to do. And, they go back and forth. And the pastor just basically does not want to take anything from Duda at all. And Duda tells him, is that what you want? And we know the pastor tells Duda, he's never been so sure about anything in his life. He good. And we know Duda tells him, okay, pretty much giving out a warning without, telling him what he's going to do to him, right? And the pastor understands, like, man, I'm going to have to figure this out because we know Duda, he is coming, y'all. And we know that somebody that's very religious most likely will be taken out this season just based on those scenes from the trailer with the casket, the crosses everywhere. It's going to be crazy. Now, Duda, he is pissed off at Bakari because he's like, look, why wouldn't you in there? You know what I'm saying? Bakari, he's like, look, man, I live with the dude. Like, I ain't about to go up in there. And Duda's like, well, you work for me. So now Bakari has to deal with the consequences of not doing exactly what Duda wanted him to do. And y'all know this is not going to end well for him. I don't know if he's going to go back and tell Papa what he saw, but regardless, Bakari is going to be in a hard spot in season 6. Now we get back to Cairo, Tiffany, and Rob. And Cairo, he's pretty much just trying to help them out, telling them like, look, he don't need the money. He is not doing it for the money, because we know they want to make him the new supplier. And, you know, they was kind of fearful as far as, you know, him being their competition and possibly putting them out of business. Now he tells them like, look, he can help them as far as growing the product or whatever, but they need a space, because doing it at their spot is just not going to happen. So in order to get this space, they need upfront money, right? They need to create a business space. And Cairo was telling them like, I can, you know, give you that. I can loan you the money, but if I do that, that means I'm going to own some percentage of what you guys are doing. And if that happens, basically they will be losing money. So it makes all the sense in the world for them to get the money, you know, themselves and not from him. So, you know, it is good that he's trying to help them out. He's like the guru of weed. I mean, this dude was not playing around. He takes this serious. I mean, he said this shit is a process. Had me cracking up. But we know Tiff is going to ask Rob about money, because she knows he has some type of money, his family, and she wants to know what's the problem. Now, Emmett takes Keisha to the new house, and she loves it. She asks the realtor DeAndre, you know, how are the schools out here? He tells her like, look, his kids go to the schools out there. They're good. I mean, this is a good area. And y'all know Emmett, he wants to give Keisha this house. He wants to make sure that she's good. They're questioning if they can really afford it. Can they actually do it? We know the house is on the west side of Chicago. And Emmett is telling her like, look, they're supposed to be opening up another location out there on the west side. And we know she's like, look, if you're going to get money from Duda, make sure that it's a loan and you need to pay him back. She ain't feeling the whole Duda thing. I mean, I won't be doing anything with Duda at all, but this is Emmett. He's been making a lot of mistakes this season. The sad thing is he knows that this is a mistake. His pops has already told him this. Keisha has already told him this, but she really wants the house. So she's willing to, you know, trust in him and believe that this will all play out the right way. But come on, we know this is not going to play out the way they think it's going to play out. And it's just a matter of time before something major happens. Now, Tiffany, she's asking Rob about the money, because she knows that he got some type of money with the house that he has right now. And he says, look, my family is the one that got me this. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, look, how about you ask your mom for the money and see what she can do about it? Now, Kevin, he popped up on Maisha, you know, after the show, congratulating her. And it seems like he really does want to be with her. She tells him, do not tell Papa. Of course, Kevin, he's like, look, I don't want nobody knowing about this. You know, I want everybody up in our business. But y'all know this ain't gonna end well. Now, Kevin leaves, and Gemma, she had that look on her face like, what the hell is he doing here in the first place? And you can tell she's going to figure this out, in my opinion. Now, we know Maisha was kind of upset because Gemma, she got her cut from the money that Maisha made. And Maisha was kind of surprised, like, you ain't supposed to really get nothing like that, because you didn't even get the show for me. You know, I kind of got it myself. We agreed on, you know, what type of money you supposed to get. Now, we know Gemma, she was putting in a lot of work to make sure that Maisha was good for this show. And she made sure that Maisha wasn't out there looking crazy. And she felt like she needed, you know, her cut. Maisha was just like, look, next time, just communicate that with me. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, this whole storyline is not going to end well, as I told you guys, because we can already see that friction between the two. And as the season continues to air out, expect more issues with Maisha and Gemma. Now, we get to the end of the episode, and we know Rob, he makes a visit to his mom, Alicia, played by Lynn Whitfield, and he needs that 50 bands, right, for the business. And she's like, look, I'll give you the 50K, but I need you to do something for me. You know what I'm saying? This is not going to be a loan. I need you to find out what happened to my brother Q, because he's the reason why you live the way you live. You went to a good school. We got this big home or whatever. It's because of him. And she be damned if he go out like that. I mean, his body was tossed in the river. She wants to know who did this. Rob is like, look, I'm not a detective or whatever, but if I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to need more than 50 bands. I'm going to need 100 racks. And she tells him like, okay, if you going to need 100 racks, if I'm going to give you that, you're going to have to do more than just find out who did this. She's pretty much alluding that, look, you need to take the person out who did this to my brother, because it ain't about to go down like that. She wants revenge. And man, she wasn't on the screen for a long time, but man, when Lynn Whitfield popped up, her acting, I mean, she just brings a different type of energy to the show. And I'm looking like, man, I cannot wait to see more of her character. We know Rob is going to be asking around. He's going to try to figure out who's done this. As I told you guys, what's going to happen to Victor once, he is basically exposed for helping Duda get rid of the body. How will Rob handle that? Something major is going to happen with Duda. Even though we know it's going to be somebody getting dropped off, we know the casket scene is coming eventually, but is Duda going to be able to make it out of this season not getting touched? I don't know about that. Duda has to deal with those consequences, man. I mean, and I'm thinking these consequences most likely are going to be deadly. Somebody getting dropped off. If I'm Rob, hell, I'm going to go ahead and call Brandy's mom and tell her, look, you need to finish the job. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and finish the job. I mean, she could have took Duda out. I mean, how you going to shoot him and then walk off? But you need to go ahead and take him out completely. And since she didn't do that, now we're seeing all the bad things that Duda has been up to, and it just continues to get worse, y'all. I mean, they're going to have to handle Duda eventually, because if they don't, all that's going to happen is more bodies are going to get dropped off, more families are going to be hurt, and it's just not going to end. So who is it going to be? We shall see as the season continues to air out. You guys, I want y'all to leave y'all theories, predictions. Leave it all down below. We will continue to talk about The Chi Season 6 very soon, so be ready for the videos. But I want to thank you guys once again for all the love, all the support, and I will catch y'all on the next one. But let me get up on out of here, man. It's your boy Mark Dark. I'm out. Peace.